Hello, Living Hope Church. I get the privilege of starting off our New Testament wisdom series. So join me in 1 Corinthians 3, verses 18 through 23. And let's jump right in. Do not deceive yourselves. If you think that you are wise in this age, you should become fools so that you may become wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He catches the wise in their craftiness. And again, the Lord knows the thoughts of the wise, that they are futile. So let no one boast about human leaders, for all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Cephas, or the world or life or death, or the present or the future. All belong to you, and you belong to Christ, and Christ belongs to God. To give a little background, Paul is writing to the church at Corinth, which seems to be playing the game of my teacher is better than your teacher. I think the modern equivalent would be my pastor is better than your pastor. And Paul's having none of it. He's basically saying, don't you know that God sent this person for this particular work, and God sent this other person for a different work, but both were sent by God to grow you? And instead of being open to the ways God is trying to grow you through whatever vessel, you're using your growth and leaders as a way of gaining status and power over your brothers and sisters, creating strife and jealousy. How is it that your growth in the knowledge of God is actually leading to division in the church? So, let's take a moment to talk about growth. Because here I have to say that God is actively seeking to grow you. Every single day. There is not one day of our lives that passes by without God beckoning us closer to Him, inviting us into a deeper wisdom and wholeness in Christ. If you need to know, is God caringly paying attention to me today? The answer to that is yes, forever and always. The question after that, though, is, am I paying attention to God today? Am I even aware of the ways He's trying to grow me? Am I willing to set aside whatever wisdom I think I have and consider myself a fool in order to learn from whatever vessel God sends my way? Am I teachable? Am I willing to be wrong or to step into the uncomfortable unknown, the mystery, the wonder, rather than be content with what little I do know of an infinite God? Am I humble and open enough to take those lessons from people I may not even like? All truth is God's truth, and He has filled all of creation with signs that can lead us back to Him. Even those who don't know God are made in His image, are being pursued by God, and are living off of every gracious word that proceeds out of His mouth. Even those who don't know Christ are being sustained and held together by Him. Which means that while our ultimate authority is the Bible, and while we do need to test the spirits to make sure what we're hearing is in line with God's Spirit, we can actually learn from anyone, and God can use anyone to speak to us, whether they acknowledge Him or not. There's a humility to that, though, because we want to be the teachers, not the listeners, not the students, but that's primarily what we are, students, also known as disciples of Christ. And while we always need to be ready to be a messenger of God, we also need to always be ready to receive a message from God. In order to be humble, though, we need to have an accurate view of ourselves, not too high and not too low either, which is why Paul next addresses who we are in Christ. He says, don't you know, you don't have to gain status. It's all yours. Everything belongs to you. You're not a servant of anything other than God. All things are serving you and your growth, your fullness. Time serves you, money serves you, the world is yours, the present, the future, it's all for you, it's all for your growth. Even death, as painful and tragic as it is not your master, but your servant. And of course, it's all serving us, and we become servants of God in that. Even beyond all that, you belong to Christ, and Christ belongs to you. Did you hear that? You belong. Maybe you feel as if you don't have a place where you belong in this world, but maybe that's because you have a more secure belonging that is established in this world and will carry on to the next. You don't belong to this world. This world belongs to you, and you belong to God. So my friends, keep your ears and eyes open, Pay attention and be ready to receive messages from God throughout your day. He wants to grow you. Are you ready to learn?